Super Mario 64. Released in 1996, this game took gamers by storm. Mario 64 was revolutionary. It standardized what 3D gaming should look like going forward in the future. Without this game, gaming wouldn't be where it is today. So it's only natural for a game as revolutionary as this to receive a remake, right? 8 years later, in 2004, Nintendo released Super Mario 64 DS. If you couldn't tell by the title, this game was on the DS. It was the first ever handheld 3D Mario game. And what's even crazier is that they managed to fit the entirety of Mario 64 on the DS. And to add even more to that, they added more content. Yes, an already fantastic game being ported onto a handheld system wasn't enough for them. They had to go through the effort of adding more to the game. However, many fans still insist that the original Mario 64 is still better. In this video, I want to determine which version of Mario 64 is better. Without further ado, let's go. We're going to start by talking about how each game controls. Mario 64's controls still hold up very well to this day. Controlling Mario is easy about 80% of the time. Mario's controls aren't finicky at all and his movement is seamless. If you're having trouble controlling Mario, it's likely because the game has thrown an obstacle at you that's making Mario glitch out a bit or not cooperate so well. Mario is even fun to control sometimes. The amount of moves the game allows you to do makes traversing each level a breeze. From long jumps, to wall kicks, to breakdancing, Mario can do it all. Mario's moveset in this game is still rightfully beloved by fans to this day. Yeah, 64DS really f***ed up. Pretty much my only major complaint about this game is the controls. What on earth did they do to them? 64DS's controls work? And that's about the only positive thing I can say about them. The controls are really clunky and don't feel right at all. Every move feels stripped and poorly implemented. This moveset doesn't feel nearly as fun to control as 64's. A big part of the problem too is the fact that this is on the DS. The DS didn't have a joystick or a circle pad. This means you had to use the D-pad. The D-pad! D-pads are for 2D games only, not 3D games. You can also use the touchscreen if you want for full 360-degree movement, but that feels just as awkward as the D-pad. Now yes, you can play this game on a 3DS or a new 2DS XL, basically any one of the DS models that has a circle pad, to have a full comfortable 360-degree movement experience. But at the time this game was made, that wasn't even an option yet. 1 point for 64. You might be wondering, how am I going to compare these games in terms of content when one is a remake of the other? Well, my answer to that is simple. One has more. 64DS tops 64 in terms of content, and you can't argue that. Literally every aspect of the original, for the most part at least, has been kept in this remake with the addition of new characters, minigames, and even more stars. 64 had a great amount of content, don't get me wrong. It had 128 stars to collect, which was a joy to do and made the game the perfect length. But 64DS had all that on top of all the stuff mentioned before. The new characters added in this game are Luigi, Wario, and Yoshi. Sorry Waluigi, maybe next time. I mean, that white door had to exist for a reason, right? Anyways, I'm getting off topic. Luigi can do this cool backflip that can literally break the game. Wario is useless and just breaks the black bricks. You will literally never use him for anything else. Yoshi can use his flutter and egg-making abilities. Right. These new characters, while they could have been utilized a bit better, still add a lot to the game and make it way more fun. They also added minigames. If you're bored of the main game, there are tons of cool minigames for you to play. I remember wasting way too much time on these when I was a kid. Even if you think 64 is better than 64DS in every way, you can't deny that 64DS has more content than 64. 1 point for 64DS. Honestly, these games are harder to compare than I thought. At the end of the day, they're both just Mario 64, except one controls infinitely better than the other, and the other has far more content. So which one do I prefer? hands down Mario 64 DS. I can very easily ignore the bad controls since they aren't bad enough to completely ruin the game for me. And while I agree that playing this on an old DS would be atrocious, playing it on a modern DS works fine for me. Plus, all the added content is a huge bonus. I could agree in saying that the changes don't add too much to the game, but they're welcome nonetheless and still add something at the end of the day. However, I do still have to agree with 64 being way easier to pick up and play. The controls in 64 make the game a breeze, and something about this game can be far more appealing at times. But hey, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Anyways, that'll do it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time, but until then, keep being awesome Nintendo fans. Peace out.